What is up? This is your LA in a minute, and I'm here at Studio City at Weddington Golf and Tennis, a community stalwart for almost 70 years, and also the site of a huge battle between the residents of the community and its current owner, Harvard-Westlake, which hopes to build an athletic and recreational facility on the 17-acre property. This is the story of Weddington Golf and Tennis, its past, present, and its future. Let's get into it. So this land was originally a sheep ranch owned by Wilson Weddington as far back as the 1890s. But with suburbanization, by the 1950s, it started developing and homes came in and became a neighborhood. But there was still plenty of open space and empty lots. All those empty lots gave an idea to Joe Kirkwood Jr., a former professional golfer, best known for his recurring roles as Joe Palooka, which earned him a spot on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Kirkwood was tired of going to the west side to golf, and he wanted a facility closer to his home in the valley. So what he did was he purchased and developed this plot of land, and he built Joe Kirkwood Jr. Golf Center. When Kirkwood moved ahead with the facility, he spared no expense. He patterned each of the holes after the world's most famous holes. He built a driving range and also these 30-foot tees topped with golf balls, which have become a Studio City landmark. By 1957, however, Kirkwood had some personal difficulties, and he sold the property to George McAllister and his best friend Art Anderson, who planted fir trees, citrus trees, hundreds of rose bushes, palm trees, and they created one of the largest green spaces in all of Los Angeles. McAllister, who was once a teaching pro, began giving out lessons to anybody who could hold a club. Valley High School's PE teachers. He made little animated flip books to hand out to kids. And he specifically encouraged women to learn the game, hosting tournaments that would grow each and every year. And while lessons were $5 a piece elsewhere, they were only 50 cents at Weddington. In the early 1970s, as recreational tennis was beginning to boom and public courts were overcrowded, McAllister's wife had the idea to not just build tennis courts, but to charge people by the hour to use them, a revolutionary idea at the time as most public courts were free. They made room by rearranging the 8th and the 9th holes of the golf course into 2 par 3s, and they opened the tennis courts, which were a smash hit. Over the year, the neighborhood feel and the beautiful golf course have attracted such notable stars as Bob Hope, Clint Eastwood, Jack Nicholson, Will Smith, Cameron Diaz, and people still flock to the Cafe Southwest, which has been around since the 1950s and also maintains that neighborhood character. It's worth noting that Weddington is also nationally known for being the place where a major redesign of the golf club head was made. In 1985, McAllister received a patent for a golf club with visual swing directing cues, and golf legend Arnold Palmer was so impressed, they began marketing the radically redesigned club heads, which became bestsellers almost immediately. However, by 1987, all the land plus an adjacent swath were offered for sale for $42 million. And in 1989, it went into escrow for $18 million before the buyer pulled out. Parks and Recs was going to buy the property, but they couldn't afford it. So thus began the battle for Weddington Golf and Tennis, which has been ongoing for more than 25 years. Currently, Whitsett, where Weddington Golf and Tennis is located, is filled with apartments and condo complexes, and real estate developers have drooled over the prospect of turning the golf course into high-density housing. But each time, residents of the neighborhood have successfully fought to maintain the urban oasis. Over time, the neighborhood began filling with condos and apartment complexes, which made real estate developers drool with the potential of turning the golf course into high-density housing. However, each time, the residents of the neighborhood have battled back and successfully, so far, fought the developers. It's worth noting that Studio City's only fire station, number 78, sits directly adjacent to Weddington Golf and Tennis. The reason why is because it used to be part of Weddington Golf and Tennis. At least the land did, but the fire department acquired it via what's called a land swap, where they traded land for the 1 acre that the fire station currently sits on. And supposedly, a land swap is still a potential solution for the people that are fighting against the development of Weddington Golf and Tennis. Flash forward to October of 2017 when Harvard-Westlake School, an independent college prep school for grades 7 to 12, purchased Weddington Golf and Tennis for $42 million. The school hopes to build an athletic complex, and their plans include 2 sports fields, 2 gyms, 8 tennis courts, a pool, and a 500-car underground parking lot, plus walking and jogging trails. The existing clubhouse, however, and the lights would remain intact. Since that time, there's been a mobilization in Studio City. Neighbors have put up signs in their yards, billboards, made calls, knocked on doors. They're worried about the loss of a way of life. They're worried about traffic, construction. And even though Harvard-Westlake has changed their plans and downsized a little bit, they're still worried about being quote unquote locked out of their own neighborhood. This is definitely a hot button issue in Studio City where residents are looking to preserve a way of the past and perhaps aren't looking forward to a future without a community stalwart, that is Weddington Golf and Tennis. All right, LA, it's been a minute.